because it'll ruin your lunch. If you get it on your hands, it'll ruin your lunch too, because it'll get on anything you eat and it'll taste funny. What I do, inside the beaver's body, he has two glands, his castor glands. And the castor glands are made for marking his territory. So a beaver will swim around his pond and he'll grab little piles of mud. He'll make these little piles of mud, then he'll crawl up on it and he'll squirt out some of this castor oil onto the mud to mark his territory, to let other beavers know, this is my pond. Okay? If I take the castor from another beaver somewhere I caught, I poke a stick in here and get it on there, and I put it up here on the bank above the beaver slide, that night when the beaver's swimming around his pond checking things out, he'll go, hey! Somebody's trespassing in my beaver pond. And he'll definitely swim over here to find out who it is. When he swims over, he'll see the fence and all that, and he'll say, okay. So now I've increased my odds of catching a beaver because of that beaver medicine. And also,
I can already smell it.
Can you smell it? Yeah, I can smell it too. Now I'm going to pass this around, starting to teach over here. Don't touch this wood part down here either because it's got some of the beaver lure on it. I mean, it's not going to kill you. Did you get all done seeing that beaver back there? Fired it. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, so that's how you catch the beaver. The beaver is going to come over and step on that trap. Now, guess what happens when a beaver steps on a trap? What do you guys think happens?
It's
going to scare the beaver. It's going to snap on his hook. He's going to go, woo! Woo! Well, maybe he won't scream quite like that. But he's going to get all excited. He's like, I got something on my foot. Something's caught me. And beavers, when they get excited and scared, they automatically dive deep into the water because they have no natural predators down in the water. Have you ever seen a grizzly bear snorkeling around in the pond looking for beavers? No. Mountain lions won't go in the water. The wolves won't purposely dive in the water to catch the beaver. They just let it go. So the beaver is going to swim deep down into the water, maybe heading for his lodge to hide in there. And if he's got this trap attached to his foot, and the chain is attached to a stake or a pole somewhere, and he can't get away, it's tied on, he's going to drown out there in the water. Now when I do a beaver trapping in deep water like that, I'll usually wire a big rock to the trap too. Because I want the beaver to go out and down really quick. I don't want him to keep swimming up, getting a breath. You know, I want him to go down to the bottom and drown quickly. Okay? Minimizes the suffering a little bit. I want you to understand though that the trap does not kill the beaver. It only catches the beaver. The beaver usually drowns. The mountain men did not shoot the beaver with their rifle. Okay? I'll avoid some of the other graphic methods. Maybe that was enough. Okay? Sometimes you had to, if you caught a beaver on shore, you had to humanely dispatch it in other ways. Do you have a question back there we get to real quick?
Was the fur the only thing they learned from a beaver?
Generally, but that's a good question. The fur and that beaver medicine you're about to smell, they also collected that from the beaver. They took those castor glands from the beaver, they squeezed that oil out into their bottle, they keep collecting that from different beavers. Now today when we trap beaver, we keep that castor for another reason. Can any of you think why we might keep this castor today? For what other reason we might keep that?
That's strong.
It's kind of hard to imagine this, but the oil in this castor makes very good perfume. They take the smell out of it, and they use this oil base to carry other fragrances. It makes a very good perfume base. So maybe teacher or your moms or something might have some perfume that has castor base in it, because it's very good for perfume. You could actually take a little of this, I suppose, and daub it behind your ears. Might attract a good trapper. Okay, so that's one of the methods of catching the beaver. Okay? Now, once the beaver is caught, the real hard work begins. You have to take out your knife, you have to skin the beaver. You guys don't seem to be shedding any tears over the beaver. Okay. Skin the beaver, take the skin off, okay? When the skin comes off, it comes out in this kind of funny round shape. Now I will generally cut the beaver tail and feet off. Here's a beaver tail you can pass around and look at. It's kind of interesting. You see, sometimes you can use beaver tails for things. I made my knife sheath out of beaver tails. Okay. So, anyway, you take the beaver tail off, and I cut some willows. I cut 2 willows and make a big hoop. Okay? Then I punch a bunch of little holes around the edge of my beaver plume, and I lace that plume in the hoop so it dries nice and flat. The reason I want it to dry nice and flat is because if I just cut it off and lay it on the ground, it'll shrink into a big wrinkly ball of rawhide. Then if I got a whole pile of those wrinkly balls of beaver fur, I can't carry them around very easily. I'd have to put them in a huge bag. That's kind of hard to do. So the mountain men dried them like this, all flat like this, and then they stacked them, folded them up. Then they used a big thing out here behind the museum. It's called the Beaver press. It's like a big log thing. You saw it last year, didn't you? Yeah. Did you? On the movie? Good, good. And they smash, like my trapping partner Mark and I over there, we'd work together. We'd smash the beaver plumes down really tight, and I'd hold the log down, or Mark would, because he's bigger than me. He'd hold the log down, and I'd tie the strings around it, tighten it up really tight. And then I'd have these nice compact little bundles of beaver fur. And when I got a whole bunch of those, I only had like 1 or 2 mules to pack them on. I had too many bundles of plumes. I couldn't carry them anymore. What will I do with them?
Maybe leave them behind and bury them?
Yes, I'd have to leave them behind and bury them. You know what? There's a special name of the place that the mountain men buried their beaver plumes and their extra supplies from Rendezvous.
Where the trees grow with.
No. No, it's a hole that they dug. It's got a special name. Teacher's over here. She's going to give special extra credit to the person who comes up with his word. Come on. I'll help you. I'll give you some clues. It starts with a C.
Oh,
It's a French word. Cash! Excellent. Good. Got it. Cash. Yeah. They say, let's cash. Let's cash our plumes. Now, you go to the museum, you're going to see a little model of the cash. Look for it. Got a bunch of little bundles in it, okay? How's that cash spelled? How do you spell cash?
C-A-C-H-E.
Excellent. Good. Okay. Excellent. Cache. Okay. So they build a cache. They put their extra beaver plumes in it and other supplies, not just beaver. And then on their way back to Rendezvous next year, hopefully they have a few more horses or mules. Either they bought them or traded with the Indians or maybe stole them. Then they go back and dig up the cache, get all their extra plumes, and go down to Rendezvous. Now when they get to Rendezvous, you take these beaver plumes like this, raw, not tanned like the one I showed you. The one I showed you was tanned, soft. These are just raw hides. They take them into the trader. And this is the negotiating part. This is where you have to be the businessman. You go in and say, Mr. Trader, I got the finest plumes in the mountains right here. These are crow beaver. Got these on the Wind Rivers. Okay? Fine beaver. And he'll look at them and he'll say, well, yes, sir, Mr. Teton Todd, those are some pretty good beaver. I'll give you $4 a pound for them. So you didn't sell them one at a time, like $2 each, and sold them by weight. So the trader, the clerk, he would weigh how many pounds of beaver you had. Okay, now here's your math question for the day. Didn't get away with homework, little math. Okay. Oh, is that next class?
Must be, yeah.
Okay, let's see, I have 300 pounds of beaver at $4 a pound. 300 pounds, $4 a pound. How much is it? 3 times 4, add 2 zeros on the end. $1,200 credit. Didn't give me cash. He opened up his book and wrote Teton Todd, credit $1,200. Then everything I bought, he subtracted from that $1,200. Hopefully at the end of the Rendezvous I had some credit left, but a lot of times I didn't. A lot of times all their money was spent. Couldn't go back and buy that farm. Better stay in the mountains another year, trap more beaver. A year after year after year, the mountaineers got stuck here trapping beaver. Okay. Looks like we're out of time. Sorry I didn't save any time for questions. You guys have been a fantastic class. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You sure are cocky for a starving pilgrim.